But I'm going to give you a quick tip of like a formula that I use just in general when I'm thinking about content. I think about 5 things. Number 1, I think about what's happening globally. Second, I look at what's happening regionally. We live in the UAE or live in the Arab world. What are those dates that matter where we live? Third is I look at what's happening in your industry. There are certain dates that matter to you that will not matter to anyone else. The fourth thing I look at is what is happening in your company or your organization. There are certain milestones that are important to celebrate, to recognize. It could be anything from a company anniversary, new clients, whatever it is. And the fifth is personal, like what is happening to your team, what is happening to your customers, celebrate people's birthdays. All of those moments matter. So taking it all from a global to a regional to an industry to a company to an individual.
Reem, do you believe that we should have like a content strategy on social media to resonate with our brand? Yes or no?
I absolutely believe you need a content strategy. Having said that, I also believe you need to be inspired by where you are and what happens around you. But I'm going to give you a quick tip of like a formula that I use just in general when I'm thinking about content. I think about 5 things. Number 1, I think about what's happening globally, right? So all those key dates that are relevant for everybody, make sure they're in your content plan. Everything from New Year's to Eid to all of that. Second, I look at what's happening regionally. We live in the UAE or live in the Arab world. What are those dates that matter where we live? They don't necessarily matter in a global front, but they matter on a regional one. Third is I look at what's happening in your industry. There are certain dates that matter to you that will not matter to anyone else. Do I care about the supply chain? Probably not. Your audience might. You want to make sure that those dates are in your calendar, right? I care about the Oscars. That's always in my content strategy. The fourth thing I look at is what is happening in your company or your organization. There are certain milestones that are important to celebrate, to recognize. It could be anything from a company anniversary, new clients, whatever it is. You want to make sure you're recognizing that. And the fifth is personal, like what is happening to your team, what is happening to your customers, celebrate people's birthdays. All of those moments matter. So taking it all from a global to a regional to an industry to a company to an individual. The first thing I do is put out a calendar and put all of these dates down. And that helps me structure the most important key dates in the plan. As well as that, the second thing I look at doing is what do I want to happen on a weekly basis? So obviously I believe in video content and I strongly believe you need at least 1 video a week. Because believe it or not, I'm going to ask you this question. Any guesses? Any guesses how many videos the average company releases per month?
For companies, huh?
Companies.
If we're talking about B2B, right? Or
well, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Average.
Maybe per month.
Per month.
4 videos?
4. The average is 18.
Oh my God.
Exactly. 18.
18 videos?
18. The average company is currently releasing 18 videos per month. I'm asking you to do 4. Do 1 a week. At least imagine how we used to watch TV shows. When you used to watch TV shows, it was on a particular day every week. Mm-hmm. You want to develop that rhythm with your audience. So you want to make sure that there's like that anchor point that people are building up to watch on a weekly basis.
But not all people, they can do something like that. Some people, they are very shy to be in front of the camera. Does it mean that they cannot build their personal brand on social media?
Not at all. I think, firstly, everybody is shy in front of the camera.
Definitely.
Everybody starts that way. But then it's always practice makes perfect. So I'm a believer that if you're someone listening to this and you're feeling a bit shy and you haven't tried it yet, push yourself and just try. Start. It all starts somewhere. You can always build your personal brand first with articles, with captions, with posts, with images, with photos. So start building your voice. Start taking, it's the same philosophy. Take that content, take your area of expertise, own that knowledge, and start sharing wisdom. Share advice that people want to learn from you. Do that in text form until you feel like, yeah, I know what I'm saying. I feel confident. I'm building an interest. And then take that next leap. Start putting photos out there. Then take that next leap and get in front of a camera. Because we're in a day and age where, unlike where I started this journey saying we looked at all those celebrities and they were getting all the fame and glory, we're in a day and age where everybody has a phone and everyone can do this. And if you are not visible, you are invisible.
I totally agree. But somehow I think some of what stopped us from doing that, it's our limiting beliefs that we care too much about people perception. I'm reflecting based on my experience. The first video that I released, my heart was beating so much, and I was thinking too much about people perception. But the moment that I just posted it, this limiting beliefs has vanished. So how can I crash these? This is just for any one of our audience. How can I crash this limiting belief and go and I start, and regardless what's people that they perceive about me, how can I crash this limiting belief based on you?
I think there are a number of things you can do. There are practical things you can do, which is practice in front of a mirror. You know, actually take that time to, you know, try again, see how you look. Second is watch how other people do it. Learn from other people's techniques, other people's tips. Build that confidence in knowledge. But the third thing I would say is you have to build that inner strength where you just stop caring, which sounds difficult, but you're talking to someone who, believe it or not, I'm highly self-conscious. And not many people believe that, because they're like, oh, but you're confident and you're out there and you're doing videos and you speak. And like, how is this possible? I'm like, it is possible. You know, I'm not always happy with the way I look. You know, I don't wake up every day thinking, yay. I try very hard, but that may not be my first natural feeling. I mention quite often, like, I've gone gray in the last few years, you know, but what I realized is nobody cares. You know, I realize that I care, you know, I'm looking at it differently, but if I'm giving you useful knowledge, useful information, you are still watching my videos, whether I have one more gray strand next week or not, right? So it's all about, you know, think about it. Do you really pay attention to what other people look like if you are learning from them? You don't, right? So your power comes in knowledge. Your power comes in embracing your knowledge and sharing it. And nothing else matters after that.
We spoke about the content strategy, and I'm so curious to know, based on your years of experience, what is the coverage that you have for your content based on the calendar? How much coverage? Let's say you're building your content for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. What's the coverage?
So it's interesting because I have different techniques for video and for the rest of my content. So I actually batch produce all of my videos. So I went in and I filmed 3 months worth of videos in one day. And for me, that's just a more efficient system. It's a better use of my time. I still use the same content strategy. So I'm aware, let's say if it's Ramadan, then I'm going to make sure that my videos talk about Ramadan. If I'm heading to summer, I'm going to talk about relevant content. But I will do it ahead of time and I will film in one go. But when it comes to the daily content, I'm actually, if you're someone who follows me on LinkedIn, I post a lot of that off the cuff because your life changes, it evolves, you meet new people, and also you have new opportunities and new experiences. So I tend to almost do that day by day, and I do that myself. So it's not a team thing. I think LinkedIn is your voice. People are connecting with you as an individual. So I take the effort every day to do my own LinkedIn posts, because I've seen the difference it makes when people connect with you and it's your stories and it's your authenticity that comes out. So
do you prefer just improvising in front of the camera or scripting? Like teleprompter, I believe.
I don't believe in teleprompters. I really don't, because I've seen how rigid it makes people. And you can see their eyes. You can see their eyes go from left to right, and they're just like panicking. I'm like, I want to hear from you. And I don't mind if you make a mistake. I don't mind if it doesn't come out the way you want it to. But it's you, right? And you're going to say it in your own voice. So I'm personally not a fan of teleprompters. I know that there are some people who panic and feel they need it. You don't. You know, if you just follow the format that I'm describing, your hook sentence, 1, 2, 3, call to action, I promise you, in under a minute, if you're talking about something you know, you will not have a problem. I find it very interesting because at the beginning, I used to be seeking perfection in front of the camera. And even with script and even with teleprompter, I feel that this is not me in front of the camera. This is not me, how I am. But I'll tell you a very interesting thing, that the moment that I start to create like very authentic videos, I go in front of the camera, I speak really from heart, I found the engagement is crazy on LinkedIn, how people they engage, because people, they feel that we are really human. Sometimes I stutter.
Sometimes I do mistakes. Sometimes, because it's my second language, it's the English, I do some grammatical mistakes, but I'm not afraid to do it. What do you think about this in terms of connection?
I think that's great. I think it's more important that you are you. You know, I want to, when I meet you off social media, that I'm meeting the real Ahmed. The guy I've been seeing on social is the guy who connects in reality as well. So I think the more you can embrace who you are with all the imperfections, you know, the more real the connections are. So I think it's important. But something I want to mention about engagement, I think it's very important that everyone has their own metric. So what's important for you and what counts as engagement for you is not important for someone else and is not their metric. So if you think about your habits or anyone's habits, you happen to be active on social media, but the average person doesn't always like and comment and engage
100%.
on someone else's page. They don't. So why do you expect the same on yours, right? That's one. Second is that you're still watching. You know, whether or not you comment and like, you're still watching. So I often sit there and think, it's okay. I'm not fussed about the level of engagement on my post. I know people are still watching. It's also measuring, like for me, I don't really care so much what happens in public. It's what happens in private, right? It's like the DM activity that may happen. It's the opportunities you may attract. So I don't want anyone to feel discouraged. They put a post out. It didn't do they didn't get the likes. They didn't get the engagement. You have to keep going. It's a long game. It's not something that gets results quickly. And it's also something that, as I mentioned, you'd be surprised who is watching. I mean, I've had situations which I never would have imagined. I was in a mall and this woman walked up to me in the mall and just went, "Oh, you're Reim." And I was like, yes, that's
I'm
me.
very famous.
You know, and she's like, "Oh, I've been watching your LinkedIn posts and, you know, I've been wanting to come to your workshop because I really want to start getting on camera. And, you know, what you said really resonated because I haven't been doing it and I want to." And I'm like, "Great, come to the next workshop." But what blew me away is this is not a woman I knew. She's not someone I had a relationship with prior to social media. She's been watching my LinkedIn videos.
And you didn't see her just maybe she doesn't engage before.
And I would never have known. So, you know, that's happened a few times. And, you know, because it's happened a few times, it made me realize you never know who's watching. You never know the impact you're having. Don't underestimate it and don't take it for granted. And just, you know, do you put that knowledge out there and the rest will follow.
Unleash is the bridge between my purpose and my mission. And my mission is unleashing the human greatness to its utmost potential.